Welcome back to our Monster Monday session. If you hear silence, well, that's because the gents are waiting in anticipation as they remembered what happened last time. But yeah, welcome back to Monster Monday. We are here on session 12. We're getting through it of 17 weeks. We're not too bad. So, welcome in. Last time we left off, Tun Tun excused himself to go enjoy a nice 8-hour nap, one which Neff would have really enjoyed being included in, as well as maybe the rest of the party, though, due to unfortunate circumstances. No one slept, except for Tun Tun. As the party would find themselves not only with Gygax's sentencing being Zebril having to pay out in armors and arms towards Neff, but the loss or the confirmation of a minor quest in Ultimus's or at Ultimus's request, the party would find themselves heading into town. Though early in the morning, around roughly 3 a.m. at this point, the party heading towards the large adventuring guild known formerly as the Humbling Horde Adventuring Guild. Ran by a Goliath named Think, the party would find their favorite adventuring guild trashed, graffiti on the wall, or rather a calling card potentially, a random item that was given in a blanket and left alone, and a strange yet heavy trapdoor. And with the help of a very grouchy and yet once again awoken Neff, the party would manage to break the trapdoor open and chase after the creature or creatures that had done this, or what they assumed. Well, the Neff would go chasing after the person down in the tunnels alongside Melvin. Gygax and Dutes would check out a strange visage that would be seen across the street in a dark alley, though upon further exploration, few clues could be found except for a mask with some strange hairs attached into it. A solid white mask with no one around as Ultimus would show up behind in the back alleys, surprised and shocked at the situation. The party would then find themselves returning to the hole and gathering together, where Ultimus would retreat to gather reinforcements and alert the people to get help. The party would try to help Neff, who, with a satisfying blow, would toss a poor innocent elven woman disguised as Ultimus, almost 100 feet down the cave and back towards the party. With the help of the party and a strange, large, ginger-haired and bearded man, or humanoid, or rather Goliath, I should put it, the party would manage to beat down this poor girl until she began to thrive, glow with arcane magic, and strange runes would appear upon her body. After the strange hunter man with the large knife would turn and leave, the party would find that as this woman would start to thrash, a strange magical impulse would start to expand, and for a moment, we go into a complete freeze. I don't know if Zelbril is available, so I'm going to assume that the player is currently not and is just listening in. Thus, I will play out what... Oh, okay. I was going to say, thus I will just play out what they gave me for orders. As time freezes for a moment, to the rest of you, you see nothing. As it's seen as almost quicker than a blink of an eye. The body in front of you vanishes, the magic below your feet starting to slightly glow, but the runes seeming to deactivate as the magic around seems to dissipate back into the air. There's nobody there as Neff, Dutes, Melvin, Gygax, and as Neff, Melvin, Gygax, and Dutes look on. In almost mere seconds, this body is gone as you look about. No sign, no signal, no nothing as it vanishes. You hear the slight cheering of crowds down below as Dutes' music is still going on. What would you all like to do?
I think Melvin hears in his head, "You're welcome."
Oh yeah, he was already just thinking, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
As
Dudes can also hear the panic.
my
Oh, thank
reflex
God.
roll for now my tentacle not being attached to the body while I'm being rolled backwards.
Sorry, Gygax, what was that? I missed that.
So my pseudopod was attached to her.
Uh-huh.
She
Yes.
was blowing up.
Mm-hmm.
So now there's that. The tension is gone for my pseudopod.
Yeah. Yeah, as you fall backwards a little bit on your feet. Yeah, the chest kind of slightly hits the ground, causing the cave to slightly tremble a little bit. For a moment, you also feel the trembling continue just slightly longer and then dissipate longer as it seems to go back normal. The crowd's still above cheering your name. Neff standing there, kind of I imagine eyeing you lot up, waiting to see what you are gonna do. As you are kind of blocking the way to the ladder.
So since my performance is still going on, I will step aside and let Neff climb up.
Okay.
We won. She's gone. We destroyed her. Yes.
All right. And you shout this out. Neff, are you gonna pass them up and head up? If Neff's player is there, you are on mute. I think they stepped away. We'll come back in a moment to that. Let me check something real quick. As you lot are looking about, what are the rest of you doing as you see this body is no longer there?
Once my performance is over, I would see if anything. Well, I doubt they dropped anything, but I would like to see if they did.
As you look over into the where the body was, seeing as Gygax kind of sitting on the ground there, you shove past go duck under Melvin. You look over, you see the imprint of what looks to be scorch marks on the ground where the body was, but there seems to be nothing there.
Yeah, I thought so. Well, seeing as they didn't drop anything, the body was taken, resulting in no looting, finding out who they were, or what they were doing here besides trying to kill Neff. I'm gonna climb out. And I'm gonna go outside and hope that there is not just a large crowd of people standing outside.
Yeah, as you turn, kind of looking about, seeing as Melvin and Gygax kind of wait for you, you start climbing up the ladder. Melvin and Gygax, are you heading after him?
Yeah, I would float
Melvin,
up along
don't
the
forget
side.
your
Okay.
trap. Don't forget your trap, Melvin.
Oh, yeah, I grabbed my trap.
Okay. Kind of disarming your trap, you grab it, packing it back up, and head up after. Gygax, go ahead and give me a climb check for your climb up the side of the wall. As ladders are still a little foreign to you in concept with you having arms or no arms. Oh, with ease and naturally as you kind of push through the hole, though a little tighter as you climb through. It seems with ease though you push up, following it behind. As you do,
happily dance up the wall.
as you happily tap dancing to the now no longer hearing the music. You look around. Oh, okay. As Doots, as you climb up above and you see the crowd cheering and yelling and clapping as they look on, you see as the large humanoid or that large Goliath from earlier seems to be standing out front and like hyping up the crowd and saying something as you hear. Go ahead and roll me a listen check.
19.
You hear him go, and then they sliced her down and cut her open as she tried to activate her grand magic. And here are the heroes now, as he waves over to you, and you see people in the streets clapping and cheering towards you as you climb out.
I'll raise a hand as if to acknowledge them, and then just walk over towards them, smiling.
Yeah, as you start walking over towards the crowd, Melvin and Gygax, are you following behind Dudes, or what's the plan? There's like 40 people of varying races in the streets clapping and cheering.
I would like to examine the crowd, none of them, to see if any of them look suspicious.
Oh yeah, give me a search check.
All right. 28. That was a nat 20.
Now you look about. As you do, they look to be seemingly cheering, excited about. You see something you haven't seen before. People who actually appreciate and are happy to see you. As the cheering and screaming and people are looking towards you, they look to be honestly happy. They look real. What about you, Gygax? While Melvin is kind of eyeing up the crowd.
I'm sort of dancing happily. We win, we killed her. Behind dude.
As you're doing that, you see some of the kids kind of clapping along excitedly, seeing you. A few of them saying puppy as they start to try and grab their parents' attention to come to let them go near you.
How far away are they?
About 30 feet, from between you and the big crowd.
I make little pseudopods and I start waving them at them.
The little kids seem to get excited and wave back as you do so. The crowd seems to continue cheering, and as you look around, Doots, at the crowd, you notice for a moment, as soon as you take your eyes off the tall Goliath, they disappear.
Do they just disappear? What seemed to be magical, or did it more like they were just fading?
As you look about, there's no sign of them. You saw them for a moment as you looked away, like Batman being summoned. He vanished without a blink of an eye. You can give me a knowledge arcana to see, and
I
you
didn't see where they.
You did not see it with that search check. Nope.
Okay.
You can give me a knowledge arcana, or you can give me a search check to see if you can spot anything of, or if you see anything specifically that would give you a clue of where he went.
So I don't have knowledge arcana, so I'll have to do search.
I'll roll a knowledge arcana.
I got a 13 on search.
14.
As you look about, you see no signs of him for a moment, dudes, and until as Melvin seems to be get closer to where he was. As you look, as Melvin kind of zooms into the towards the floor, you notice a small little tentacle of black coloration kind of dissipate for a moment, almost a moment later, as Melvin gets closer to it. Melvin, as you see this, you can definitely tell this was some sort of spell. Though you're unsure what it was, from what you can tell of the knowledge arcana, that was some sort of fiendish magic, you'd guessed.
I see.
And Gygax, you're pretty sure that small black tentacles appearing are definitely magic. Based on your recognition, you haven't seen any magic like this before, I will mention, from all the magic you've seen so far. Crowd still cheering and shouting out towards you lot. They don't seem to be shouting a specific name. One guy seems to shout, go magical elf guy. You hear another go, man, that there must be the chess, as he points over towards Gygax. What are you doing?
I'm going to raise a hand, or raise a fist, and say, proudly, what was the name we decided on? I think it was the Cryptic Cabal. I have to go back.
Partly forgot on day one his company's title.
No, we decided this a while back. It just never came up to announce it because we were going to, but we got kicked out of Zebral City before we could.
Dude, quickly holding his hand up, quickly stops, pulls out a little booklet, starts flipping through the pages. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was the Cryptic Cabal.
Alright, turn back, raising your hand back up. What are you shouting?
We are the Cryptic Cabal.
As you shout this out, you see people seem to scream and cheer. Give me a, let's say, I'll either perform or diplomacy, depending on how you plan to shout this.
So I'm going to do. Yeah, I feel like it would be more in character to do it while strumming my instrument,
All right, then give me a
as
perform.
if announcing a. So.
Perfect.
Yeah. 23.
Okay. As you playing your instrument, almost as the zing goes off, and lights seem to explode around you. The wording seems to kind of slightly appear in a minor magical illusion around Doots for a moment, as the crowd seems to cheer louder. They seem to scream and cheer. Doots, you're 100% sure your perform does not create letters in the air to light up. As you look about, Melvin and Gygax, you can sense there's some sort of minor magic being influenced around you. And it's quite potent, even though it's to a minor effect. But as Doots says this, the crowd seems to get more ecstatic, cheering on as the lights fade away, and the magical feeling seems to dissipate. The crowd kind of dissipating with that and start talking, whispering about it. But what do you all want to do as they start to break up?
So.
How much did you miss out of curiosity?
No, I heard it.
Okay.
I just went to go grab food.
I know, I heard your door shut, so I'm making sure.
So I'm gonna be honest. I want to rest. I'm tired.
Dudes looks over towards Melvin and Gygax, dark baggage under his eyes. The full effect of not having slept for now 8 hours. These sounds of the rooster in the distance cawing as the sunlight is starting to kind of pierce over the hills.
I mean, I could definitely go for that.
Okay.
Alright, as the party kind of turns with that and heads back, you see a little way down the road a slightly hooded figure of Neff kind of dodging in and out of people as he's heading towards the same direction. As you lot head towards the back towards the camp, you pass by that same group from earlier. Though Melvin, you see that one monk-looking figure, the one with the wrapped hands, the lightly armored, walking about, that giant that keeps giving you dirty looks as they walk through the town. You see them for a moment as you pass by, and they just seem to kind of stare at you once more as you kind of pass them around. Again, eyeing you up, and then as they seem to get ready to just leave your vision, they seem to smile and then give you a thumbs up and continue on their way.
I just give them the tentacle.
Okay. Alright. Is that a good tentacle or a bad tentacle?
They'll never know.
Alright. As a tentacle goes up in the air slightly, you guys continue past them to the mercenary quarters, passing the two guards have standing there, one half asleep, leaning up against the wall, the other looking to kind of like eyeing you lot up as you pass through, letting you through without issue. Though they seem to seemingly recognizing you. You find yourselves almost not 10 feet past the gates, and you see Tun sitting in the tent that had been moved, completely out cold. Actually, I imagine Tun waking up at this point, enjoying breakfast.
He's having a pleasant morning. The birds are singing.
Well-
There's a perfect amount of dew on his shell for a nice, like a wet grass smell.
Woke
It's
up,
very nice. He had a very pleasant. No like eye crusties on him. Like he's.
no party members to kick or bother him when he woke up. They're all gone when he did. It was I imagine quite peaceful.
He wakes up and it's like, man, this is the first time I feel happy in a very long time.
Loneliness. It was the key all along. As you guys see your party members coming through the gates. Dude's completely bags under his eyes, tired, exhausted looking, worn down, still slightly beaten up from and clawed up from the owlbears earlier that night. Though the wounds are closed now, the exhaustion and feel and bruises of the battle definitely are still there. Melvin was carrying his I imagine his 2 1/8 staffs. And Gygax. At this point, I imagine you haven't taken much damage, or really any at all, right? Correct, Gygax? Because I think our last combat, the opponent just ran away from you.
I'm at full health.
Gygax, I imagine, looks very annoyed at this entire night after the skeleton fight's none of this going his way or to his advantage. As they kind of join you around Tun, you see Neff kind of a few moments later catching up behind them. What looks to be a green vial with a little green, 5-pointed plant on it. As he looks over at you, deep bags under his eyes, and just a deep hatred glare towards you. You feel the glare is specifically aimed at you. Just that this person is angry. As Neff kind of heads off to their own tent, disappearing into it, you lot find yourselves kind of laying about, leaving Tun kind of awake by himself, kind of sitting there as breakfast is sat in a kind of a center table already. Some bits of coffee kind of already made from one of the mercenaries that had kind of come in earlier. When they dropped off some of the food. A few cushions set around for you lot to make your beds and set up on as you kind of enter the tent. Tun looks to be well refreshed as he welcomes you lot in. Are you saying anything, doing anything, or are you lot just going straight to sleep?
Morning, Tun. I hope. Yes.
I walk to the breakfast table, grab a sandwich for me, a pastry for Tun, walk to the tent and go psionically, "Morning, Tun, pastries for you, we're tired, we're going to sleep."
I don't know. I mean, I know. Would they even have pastries for breakfast? I don't know. That seems like a little lavish for a mercenary company.
Yeah, as you look about, it's mostly like meats, cheese. The little breading that is in there is mostly like bread that was cut up fresh by someone else who baked it. There's no sweets amongst the table other than the stuff that Tun would have taken out from his personal collection.
I'm tired. I grabbed a flattened piece of bread thinking it was a pastry.
Gygax has to do
I was saying,
things.
to Gygax, it could be. I mean, this could be a form of pastry. It's bread. It's got something that's kind of savory and salty, and it's close enough.
Tun will accept it graciously, knowing his intentions are good. After that, Tun will just meander around the camp, waiting for him to be needed by someone.
Okay. As Gygax, Melvin, and Dutes kind of curl up and start to kind of fall asleep, Tun, you find yourself with an unfortunate mount for the day as someone seems to kind of climb onto your shell as you kind of head into the camp. A familiar weight, though not to you. As you kind of turn your head and look back, you see the very pleasant, dark furred, panther-like Rakshasa that you recognize as Ultimus. Though in this form, she looks to be, as you realize it's a she, looks to be slightly more cat-like instead of having the long rat-like nose and rat features. As she wears her normal armor, just sitting on you, basically on the back of your shell, eating what looks to be some sort of slice of bread with something on it.
Tun will, while looking at Ultimus, tilt his head in more of like a curious manner.
As you do, she looks down at you and goes, "Oh, this wasn't a chair. Well, shit. Do you want to have some fun, Tun?
Tun will kind of look at the sky, pondering, and then will nod his head.
Ah, I see you understand. How would you like to go hunting?
Tuntun will once again give a look of curiosity as to like what? Like, what are we hunting?
Ultimus will just kind of point back towards the mercenary quarters, picking up a big basket from the side of the, or from off to your side. You kind of notice she sat down right before she climbed on top of you, or on top of your shell. And as you kind of she grabs the basket, put it in her lap, points towards the mercenary quarters. She goes, to the tunnels, young Tuntun. Don't worry, I'll explain on the way. Do you go where she says? Not knowing where the tunnels are, as she just points towards the gate to the city.
Yeah, Tuntun will just follow instructions.
All right. Tuntun, give me a D100 roll.
Okay, let's see what we got here. 43.
43. As you head with Ultimus into the city, it seems to be quite rampant with a lot of people talking, laughing, and discussing. Many of them seeming to point towards you, and as it seems weird as many merchants. Give me one sec. Citizens and other such folks as they pass by seem to keep pointing at you, and as you turn back, you finally notice why, as Ultimus is holding a sign that has the name Cryptic Cabal written on it, and then like a sign pointing down towards you that says tank on the arrow. And as you start to kind of walk toward down the street following her directions, you come across a broken down inn that's kind of decimated. Going inside, she kind of points out and then gets a little bit of a pulley system to lower you down about 60 feet down into some tunnels. As the two of you spend the rest of the day looking through the tunnels and hunting small goblins and other goblinoid creatures that are down deep within the Underdark of the city. As you finally manage to make it out come nightfall, returning back to your party, you walk out with around 400 gold pieces worth of goblin ears that Ultimus kind of hands you the gold pieces off straight for and just keeps the ears for herself to take back. As you head back to camp, finding your party, finally waking up, though it being the middle of the night, or kind of getting into the middle of the night, as you finally make camp, or back to camp, they seem to be waking up and getting ready to go about their next mission. Neff, going about his camp, giving orders, telling people what to do, or kind of checking on his soldiers, making sure the new gear looks to be in good shape. You lot kind of rejoin together in your tent, Tuntun slightly covered in goblin blood and smelling of dead goblin, as he joins you. But you all get your 8 hours of long rest.
All right. Tuntun, do you want me to clean you off?
Tuntun does not seem bothered by what is currently staining him.
Alright. I will not bother wiping you down then.
As he just kind of lays on one of the larger pillows that have been set out for him. It's slightly already covered in grime from previous adventures.
Well then. Since it's nighttime, I doubt there's anything really around. Probably shouldn't do any quests right now. Question is, because I know that they were looking for a bard for a festival that was happening. Is that still going on?
As you look outside, you can hear the music of the city. The city is active at night, as the festivities are starting to be planned and people are starting to celebrate early. You do hear the singing and dancing coming from inside the city. It seems like it's pretty active already. Some of the mercenaries seem to be joining, but as you do notice, none of the lycanthropes seem to be allowed to leave camp, as Neff seems to be yelling and giving strict orders about his camp. Though, with you lot far away from it, it's kind of hard to hear. You can just see him in the distance kind of waving and gesturing wildly.
Alright. Well, I'm gonna head over to the festival to perform, see if I can make some side coin if anyone would like to join me.
Coin? Okay.
Coin.
Alright.
Tuntun will go along as moral support, unsure of how he can actually provide support.
I imagine that Tundun just kind of nods with this at this point.
Yeah, unless I'm the stage in which you perform on, I don't really see how I could be of use.
Do a flip.
Your shell does sparkle with a proper amount of light shined onto it.
I can start spinning around and be a disco?
Yeah, you give a pretty light effect.
As I'm stomping around, rotating, it's like bass, like doof, doof, doof.
Yeah, before we reach town, I'm gonna hide.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and give me a move silently and a hide check. And Melvin stepped away, so I'll give Melvin a minute. 18, okay, for hide. And then perfect timing. 18 for, wow, easy. Melvin, the party is currently, as it is now, we're back to the night. You got your long rest. The party is currently planning to go in and help out at the early part of the festival, as people are already starting to party and dance and drink, and are trying to kind of planning what they want to do when they go in. Are you wanting to join them, or are you planning to stay at camp?
Yeah, I'll go with them.
Okay. Now, are you going to disguise yourself, or are you just going in as yourself at this point? Just to be clear.
I'm just gonna go in as myself.
Okay.
I don't know that there's much a beholder can do to disguise themselves.
You're not wrong. That's a fair point.
Put a little tablecloth over him, make him a little ghost.
Yeah, exactly. As you lot head into the city, Neff, are you going to stop them, seeing them head in towards the mercenary quarters, or are you cool with letting them just go?
No, they're not needed, and unless one of the four want to go with them, because I think I'm just prepping the regular troops, but they shouldn't need a chaperone or anything.
I was gonna say that would be letting your men go unchaperoned into drinking, partying, and a very large festival that's going on. They are mercenaries, and they are disciplined at the same time.
Yeah, we have a siege to get ready for. That's in a few days.
Hangovers are great for sieges, I'm told. So as you kind of eyeing them up, seeing them head off, you kind of not really saying anything. The rest of your men, though, seem to gripe, though, after a few explanations and a few loud arguments. Many seem to quickly understand that they're not being paid by you, and therefore they don't really have, you have really no control of what they do. The rest of Monday heads into the city as the festivities are picking up, singing, dancing. You see races of all kinds, beast folks, monster folk, and I use monster folk liberally here. Humanoids, all dragonkin, giants, many races gathered in the streets, already starting to drink and dance as music can be heard from taverns all throughout the city. Almost a ceremony, a strange, conglomeration. You notice many of the taverns are all playing the same exact song at the same exact time. As the city starts to light up and begin to party, the city of bards begins to show why it earned its name. What do you lot want to do as you head into this massive city-wide party?
Sorry, the last part cut out for me.
I think Melvin would stay where a majority of the monster folk and whatnot are.
Okay.
And rather than partying, just kind of keeping an eye out, trying to make sure that none of this cult or anything's gonna try to attack while everybody's partying.
Alright, Melvin. Give me a search and gather information check, and I'll give you a +4 for the fact that you're for what you're specifically looking for. I stay on guard, hidden in the shadows near the group. Okay. I assume kind of shadowing Melvin specifically, Gygax.
25.
Oh, okay. Got you. Oh, 0.5? Alright,
25 search,
Yep.
and then you said gather information.
Yep.
Is that +4 as well?
Yes, that's correct.
So, 9.
Damn. Oh, that hurts. As you kind of watch, we'll come back to you in a minute. Gygax is staying on guard. I'm gonna call that a readied action. So if anybody makes any move or points something out to Gygax, that'll cue his action to do something. Dudes, what are you looking for doing while you head in as Melvin kind of starts to head towards the more monstrous part of groups and areas?
So I'll look around first, see where most of the other bards are gathered.
Okay.
Probably get myself an ale, get an ale in me before going on the stage to help and performing.
Yeah.
Before eventually getting a little adventurous and perform myself.
As you kind of follow down the main street, you see as a massive stage has been kind of set up at the junction. As Melvin kind of sinks off to a little bit of one of the back areas of the little concert going on at the T-junction, you see the stage is opened up as bards are walking up and down the stage playing the music that you hear coming out of every tavern. As you see the three schools represented equally amongst the stage trying to outperform each other in the same song. As they kind of go at it. As you climb up onto the one of the lower stages beneath them, where a few other mercenary bards seem to be playing. Give me a perform check and let's see how you do.
All right.
And Tun, start thinking about what you want to do. You're up next. So.
23.
23. As you start jamming out, what are you playing?
So I'm gonna go with. Hail to the King by Avenged Sevenfold.
It's like they're learning. Alright. Really good song, actually, one of my favorite workout songs. So, yeah. As you start playing at it, you watch as the other bards kind of seemingly watching you, kind of catch on to the music and starting to really enjoy liking the music, going from almost a broad folktale song about Greg's adventurous spirit. They start to kind of join in with you and start playing the song as you start to see it echo across the entirety of the city as the trend picks up even more. You start to hear the bards seeming to fall behind you and playing along now, trying to outdo you at your own song as they seem to try and pick up the lyrics.
Not gonna happen.
Alright, while you do that, Tun, what are you doing as you see Melvin kind of skirt off to one of the back areas of the big group gathering of this massive concert at the T-junction? Gygax kind of shifted into the crowd and seemingly, although able to be seen by his allies, has seemingly found a nice little spot on a table to kind of sit down on and watch both sides, or watch everyone. Fucking good song, god damn it. Gygax, you got me singing it in my head too. Go ahead, Tun.
Hell yeah.
Well, Tun can't exactly help perform.
You could act as bouncer.
He's probably just gonna sit near where the performance is, maybe act as like some kind of bleachers for like young children so they get a better view or something like that.
Alright, yeah, as you go in, are you trying to, are you going to actively, try and find a family that looks like they're or a group of kids that look like they're trying to get a better view on the thing?
Sure.
Okay. Give me a spot check, let's say. See how many you gather up.
25.
As Tun starts kind of pushing through the crowd, many of them not really seeing him being so low to the ground, kind of as soon as he kind of comes up and says Tun, they seem to kind of move, accepting it. Kind of walking up, the first kid seems to at first look at you and look a little nervous, but then as you the light catches you and you sparkle, you see the kid's eyes start to light up as he climbs on top of you. One gets on, and as you kind of find a couple others, you start to gather a group of kids as they start to sit down. Give me a reflex save real quick.
Okay, let's see here. 21.
Okay. As you gather about 10 kids, you sit down and start, as they are kind of right at the front of the performance, a rather large koboldkin, looking more like a drakekin, kind of turns to you as you kind of push up to him, standing right in front, or getting to a right good comfortable spot in front of the band. As he kind of looks at you, sees the kids on your back and kind of grumbly moves and steps out of your way as you get a full front row seat as the music starts to play, the kids starting to headbang along as they have a good time with it. Don't worry, Melvin, that's not what the reflex save was for. As you lot start to go, the music starts to expand out, everything, the performance seems to catch people's attention, and Melvin, as you kind of start to watch about, you notice there's something strange going on. The magic in the area is, it's dense, but you shouldn't be able to see it. Like, that's not an actual thing. That doesn't make sense as you start to look about, but you see strange bits of blue light flowing into the sky very thick, and as you look up, you start to notice a large red magic circle kind of circling around the entirety of the city, glowing as no one seems to be looking up currently. As you start to look about, every once in a while you notice in the corners of each of the city slightly what looks to be dark figures standing far in distance. You'd guess almost half the city away. As you look over towards where the mercenary gate is, one seems to be standing up there, though. As you look for a moment, they seem to also disappear just as quickly as another shadow seems to get up, or climb up onto the tower. Looking towards the western gate where you came in, though, you also see another figure standing up there as this spell continues to what looks to be gather magic above the city. The rest of your party has yet to notice at this point.
I would like to psionically link with Doots, since I am.
Okay.
And be like, I think there's something going on here. You might want to look up.
I will look up.
Give me a will save, Dudes.
Uh-oh.
Alright. 24.
As you look up, you see the magic circle glowing up in the sky that seems to be covering the entirety of the city.
So I don't want to cause too much of a panic, but I'm going to, similar to how when an emergency actually happens at concerts, the band artist or band lead singer will just start screaming, hey, hold up. I'm going to very calmly try to announce to everyone, I think it is best we probably evacuate.
Okay. Give me a diplomacy check, let's say.
Alright.
Let's see if they understand.
That is not diplomacy, that's decipher script. 25.
25. Yeah, so as you turn and start saying this out loud, the rest of the band's kind of looking on at you, kind of take a second and look at you kind of confused, and you see a kind of larger looking ogre dressed in what looks to be simple leather, but carrying a large wooden stick on that's shaped in the shape of a sword, kind of coming over towards you, Doots. As you try to stop the performance, the three schools a little bit higher up from you, seeming to see you kind of shake their head no, as they continue playing, having a good time as the crowd seems to be pumped up. The guard kind of coming over towards you, and as he sees this and goes, I need you to come with me, sir. Sir, we can't have you stopping the performance when it's the celebration in Greg's Maratom's honor. That is disrespectful, sir.
Look, I don't mean to cause any upset or harm, but the problem is that look up.
You see him look up, and as he can't make the DC, you see his eyes just kind of stare for a moment, and as he looks down, you notice as for a second in his eyes as he looks up, there's no reflection of the red circle in his eyes. For some strange reason, as he looks back down at you and looks you in the eyes and goes, "Sir, it is a beautiful night out. I appreciate it, but my wife would like to see me home tonight at a decent time. So if you would not mind letting them continue their performance, I would appreciate if you would just find yourself out."
I will leave, but I would like to restate, if anyone dies tonight, it will be on your hands because you choose not to evacuate.
Okay, sir. Now I'm gonna have to put you under arrest and take you to the dungeons, as you've made a threat against His Highness and all of his people. I didn't want to have to do this to the kids' heroes in front of them. Can you please kindly step with me so I don't have to do this in front of all the kids that are cheering? As he kind of looks over at Tun Tun with all these kids screaming and laughing and cheering along to the song.
I'll walk off to the side, and as soon as I break line of sight, I'm going to bolt round a corner, change my appearance, and casually walk out of the city.
What's your move speed?
My move speed is 30. Walking, 60 running.
Yeah, no, with 30, you go to turn and run. Give me a reflex save. He is also going to make one to see who gets away. Oh, wow. Alright, well, that's a 20.
Where's my mouse? There it is.
I would assume on the computer.
25.
Damn! As you turn and look at him, as he smiles, as you saying that you have accept going with him, he takes you around to the back of the stage, and as soon as you get to the back of the clear side of the kids and most of your fans, you turn and bolt before he even gets a second to look back, as he expects you to just kind of stand there. As by the time he turns, you get up to the alleyway. He starts to chase after you as you dip around a corner. He seems to lose track of you a few moments later as you dip around another corner. He seems to kind of go a different direction, and then you hear a loud sigh and go, "I don't care," as you hear the loud footsteps heading back towards the stage. Leaving you by yourself as you disguise yourself. You can either roll disguise, or if you have a spell, you're good.
So it's my shape change ability.
That's right. Alright, what are you shape changing into?
I'm gonna go with, let's do a human.
Are you sure?
I'm gonna go on, not what I see as like other non-monster race humans.
Okay,
here.
I got you. I'm just making sure, man, because you say human, I'm like, oh. Right.
I don't know what those look like. I haven't seen one.
That's what I'm at. Like, here, this is a very mixed race town. This isn't like one race. The closest thing I would say would be Cobalt Kid, I guess, would be in the most production. So, do you have a scale color you'd choose for that?
I would go with let's do a red, a light red.
Okay. Alright, yeah, you turn into about a 4 foot tall light red kobold. It has what looks to be, your clothes seem to kind of blend in with, or shrink down with you pretty comfortably, surprisingly, as your appearance kind of slightly shifts.
And I will psionically connect back with Melvin. Yeah, I think it's best we evacuate as many people as we can, though I doubt we're going to get any work done with that.
Well, I guess we can try to do this the hard way.
You suddenly hear Gygax, Melvin, and Dutes. You hear suddenly in your head, "So, as you hear the familiar hunter's voice from earlier with the large knife, as he goes, "Ah, boys, I see there's a giant red thing above us. Is that anything to do with you lot?"
No,
you recognize
we're
this as
trying
the
to get
ginger
people
hunter.
out.
He kind of, as he hears this, he goes, "Okay, all right." You hear a slight spit sound and realize you don't have to spit in your head. As that seems to kind of go over into your head as you hear this, and he goes, "So, you want some help?"
At what cost?
You know your turtle friend. He's got a pretty shell. I just want a little piece of it.
I've been traveling with Tun for a while. How often have I seen him shed?
He sheds pretty regularly, about once every couple months.
How did I not know this? I would have eaten a shell.
I imagine Tun would probably not want you guys near him when he sheds his, outer shell. Because it's also one of the only times that makes a reptile typically vulnerable. So. Oh.
Do I know he is due for a shedding soon?
You guesstimate, given at most maybe a month, maybe 2 max. You could probably get the materials if you had to.
When do you want this piece of his shell?
You know, man, how about this? I'll tell you what. We'll do it on a pay-by process. You get it to me when it happens, we'll call it even.
All right. May I know the name of the individual that I'm conversing with?
Name's Goose. And he just goes deadpan quiet.
Goose?
No, Goose. Like the one that honks. My mother had a sense of humor.
Okay. Can I try to see if that's a lie?
Yeah, give me, give me a second. That one caught me up. Yeah, sense motive, yep.
Alright. Let me check to see if I have anything racially that helps with this. Nope. Wow, okay. I rolled a 3, I got an 8.
He seems to be being, well, what are you trying to gather as far as, this goes?
Is that his real name? Or is that just the name he's spouting on the spot? Like, oh yeah, my name is Goose.
He said it with such confidence, and it's such a strange creature to pick for a name, and you've never heard something like that before. It'd be kind of weird for him to make up a name like that in a moment like this.
Alright, Goose. Sure. What are you going to do to stop this, magic ring?
Oh, nothing! Watch this. And you hear, the loudest bellow out, as the entirety of the city starts to, shake from this guy's yelling. He finishes, it goes silent, and then you hear him go, "Greg's Maratom is dead!" And people start panicking and running for the streets, or running. Almost immediately. As people start sprinting and running about, panicking, freaking out, screaming in every direction. You see people start shouting that there's an army coming. That people have to get out now before the troops come to sack the city. People are starting to do what you asked, not in a innately and kind manner, but as you watch Melvin and Gygax kind of, I imagine, get themselves off into an area where most of the foot traffic isn't as hefty. Tun and the kids kind of get off his shell and run off. People seem to be doing what they were supposed to, which is escaping.
Alright.
I'll be honest, Tun also assumes that he should be leaving as well, so he is also escaping.
Tun, who has no idea any of this is what's going on, is just gonna, I imagine, let the kids down to their parents, finding their parents in the crowd and then heading out of the mercenary quarters.
Yeah, exactly. Because of course Tonton wasn't informed about anything that's going on.
Yeah,
so he's just gonna follow the crowd.
Tun disappears into the crowd. Melvin and Gygax, when this happens, what are you doing?
I check to see where my party members are and if they are in threat of violence.
No, you look over, you see Tun kind of clearing a path. Well, you don't see Tun, but you can clearly see where Tun is as the little cleared area around his wide shell, as people aren't trying to step on his very thick hide. Though I mean, from your understanding, it'd be pretty hard to harm Tun as you kind of eye the other two squishy party members. Melvin's right next to you, looks to be a no harm, although he does I imagine me looking up the sky, seeing this spell and looking nervous. And Duke's across only about a street block or so away. You can kind of see poking his head out, I imagine, into the main street, looking about, making sure that guard isn't coming back.
Yeah. Once I'm sure that he's not coming back, I'll go
Oh
back
no!
to the
As you
normal
look about, you see for a moment as he is running, screaming in the opposite direction towards the west gate, trying to enter the city, leaving everyone behind.
Wow. I mean, I guess, when your boss is dead, there's no point in keeping up your job, but still.
A wooden sword kind of clattering up to the ground as he takes off. But yeah, as you turn back, rejoining as Melvin and Gygax kind of sitting at a table that was set out in front of a business that has now been closed up and the people ran off. You lot kind of gathered. You see Tun kind of, I imagine, eventually spotting you lot and kind of turning and heading over to you, lot saying that you aren't panicking.
Hey, Tun. Next time you shed, can I have one of your scoots?
Tonton kind of shrugs as much as a turtle can shrug. Because, I mean, to be honest, like, he could feel... I mean, sometimes it's a little difficult to know myself when I'm shedding, as it's kind of like when the old scoots come off, they just do.
For the player's perspective, it's every time you level because you are growing a little bit more and more.
Gotcha. Oh, actually, so I mean, Tonton will actually, since Tonton, I mean, we just leveled up. Tonton
That's true.
will go, so there should be some scoots back where Tonton was sleeping. So
yeah, in your camp. Mm-hmm.
Tonton will Gygax is there, right?
Yep.
I'll try to talk psychically with Gygax because I know he can talk with me.
Yeah, as you start saying some things in your head, unless Gygax is actively listening to Tuntun's head at all times, Gygax, you see Tuntun kind of look at you and then start staring at you.
Bionic Link. What's up?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Tell Dukes that I have some of my, discarded scoots back where I was sleeping. I have recently shed a little bit while I was sleeping.
I look at Dukes. Tunsun says he hit in the tent when he was shedding. Does that mean anything to you?
Good God.
I imagine Tuntun's annoyed glare.
Yeah, there is a very much annoyed glare. Like,
You're just disappointed, this turtle.
Kind of like, like Jim from The Office just looking at the camera? That kind of look. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Kind of look.
I'm gonna slowly just look from Gygax to Tuntun and just...
Tuntun will just shake his head.
Okay. I doubt he's still connected, but I am just gonna start thinking out loud. Goose? No response after the first speak. I'm gonna yell it.
After you hear nothing, you yell it out loud. You see the large Goliath coming, big ginger beard, long flowing ginger hair, a leather tunic that looks to be just slightly too small to clasp properly, as the buttons on it have completely popped off due to his muscles. Comes walking over, two large spectacle or pieces of glass with some weird copper wiring kind of wrapped around them to hold them in place. He kind of comes up. You realize he's got no weapons. He's not wearing his knife. He doesn't have his bow on his back. As he walks over, smiling, he kind of looks down at you lot and goes, "You called?"
Yes. Seems my friend Tuntun here has actually shed recently, so if you're willing to wait, I can go and retrieve some of the scoots.
Of course, I'm happy to wait for you. If I may.
Oh, Scoots. Oh, sorry, Tuntun.
Tuntun's annoyed look.
Still gives you an annoyed look.
Imagine turns to the camera with just an even more annoyed look.
Turns to the audience.
Goose kind of stands over you and kind of pats Tuntun on the back, slightly feeling his hand go, give a little bit as it feels the portal as he pulls away and goes, "Yeah, oh, of course, I'll wait here. Do you need me to help you or go with you?"
No, it's fine. I will be right back.
He knows.
Shouldn't be any trouble.
Can I have one too, please?
If you wish, you can.
He sits down at the chair right next to Melvin, just kind of looks at Melvin, and smiles, kind of slightly looking, like inspecting you, Melvin, up and down, and as he looks over and goes, "So are you, like, what kind of beholder are you, if you don't mind my asking?"
A special one.
I haven't seen one as small as you before. Usually the ones I experience are all like, I'm gonna eat you, I'm gonna command you, I'm gonna dominate you. One tried to shag a sheep. It wasn't pretty.
Well, I am only, 13.
Young. I didn't know you were age. Tell me, if you don't mind my asking, do you expect to get bigger, or is this like the size of your kind of species?
I think that I'll grow more.
You know,
I'm not really sure what all my agreement comes with.
I want to sense motive on the orange-haired guy talking to my brother.
Yeah, go ahead and give me a sense motive. And what are you trying to sense from him exactly?
His hostility level.
Okay. Wow. You sense mild hostility from him. But no more than you would expect of like a bartender serving you guys at a bar that your type don't normally walk into. It's kind of it doesn't feel like it's a fear, but it does feel to be the same level of hostility, as if this person's not going to do anything unless you actually try to attack them and harm them.
I'm gonna stop moving, become completely motionless, and slowly try to hide.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and roll. He seems to be completely enamored with Melvin in the conversation, as he kind of looks over at Tuntun every once in a while, kind of slightly petting the back of his shell, as Dudes heads off. Yeah, with 31, you disappear almost as you blend in as the conversation kind of continues on. He looks over at you, Melvin.
Slowly move closer to Melvin to be protective.
All right. Yeah, you kind of, I imagine, kind of turn yourself into the head, just so that way you can get just slightly closer to Melvin with your large size. Now, are you going to be getting between Melvin and this guy, if you can, or just right next to Melvin?
I'm basically be flanking this guy.
Okay. All right. Yeah. As you kind of move around, go ahead and give me a move silent. Oh, yeah. Move silently. And see if you can. He kind of looks over at you, Melvin, though, and goes, 22. Yeah, you managed to get around him completely quiet as you go waiting. He turns to Melvin and goes, "So, you a deal? What is that like? Are you like a warlock? Or do you serve some sort of like godly being?"
Something like that.
You understand? It kind of nods up and down and goes, Understandable. Touchy subject. Some people don't like admitting to their gods. What about you, Tunathy? What do you, like to do? Hunt? I've heard horrid tales of your great escapades when it comes to pastries.
I link psionically with Tuntun and Melvin, and with Doots. I get a slight hostile feeling from this guy. I'm ready to attack him whenever need be.
Tuntun says Tuntun. Just Tuntun.
He talked to us psionically earlier.
As you send up the link, Doots, who's ran off already by this point, does not hear you, but as the other two hear this, Melvin responds back, saying that you see Goose is kind of like, listening to Tuntun just say Tuntun over and over again. And, as he kind of just nods along, he goes, "Hey, fascinating. Truly, I did not know that your kind had that kind of a history to the world."
Just elaborate Zaraton history, knowledge of eons past.
He kind of nods along as you're telling the tale, and as we jump over to Doots, as you kind of start heading towards the mercenary gates, people panicking and running about, still screaming as they think there's a threat of an army coming. You kind of pass by the gates as two of the soldiers standing there seem to be completely just letting people flood through. As people are just trying to get out of the city everywhere they can. You jog past and down towards the mercenary quarters, see Neff and his troop. They look to be armed, though they don't look to be moving or doing anything, as they seem to be standing about. But as you turn to head towards your tent, you're just going in there to grab a scoot, or are you doing anything else?
I'm going to grab the scoots, and then I'm going to tell Neff, or go to Neff.
Okay. Yep. As you go in, seeing the small pile underneath the bed that Tuntun was sleeping on, like as if they were shoved and squished underneath there. You grab a couple or two pieces off, kind of pocketing them and head over where you see Neff, full battle gear, well rested. His men all outfitted in set to ready for a fight. As they look to be as people are panicking, running outside the city. But Neff seems to be standing at command, waiting, just seeing what's happening.
So, Neff, I want to ask, did you see the red ring in the sky a little while ago?
Neff, as you looked up at the sky, there's nothing there.
What about my 3 casters that are all right behind me?
None of them report any strange magic that they sensed.
I just shake my head. I don't see anything.
Okay. So while in the town, Melvin alerted me that there was a magical ring in the sky. Not sure what it was, or fearing that it might do some harm to the citizens of the city. I tried my best to evacuate them. That failed. Some individual named Goose then offered to help in exchange for I pull out some scoots from Tuntun to get everyone out of the city, and chose to yell that Greg's Marathon has died. As far as I know, I don't think this is true. This is just a means to get them out of the city. But I also think this individual might have been the same one that has been watching us, or was watching us when we were in the tavern. As his hair color is eerily similar to the one, and I pull out the mask, still attached to the mask.
You see a slight indent where a very thick mustache clearly was pushed in. Or someone with very thick hairy jowls, basically. And you can see the very long mustache hairs are still there of ginger coloration.
Uh-huh.
Now, I am not sure if he is hostile whatsoever, though I do know that he has been watching us specifically, or he might be related to the group of people that were looking to hunt you down. If you wish to help potentially subduing him, should the need arise, very much would be appreciated. Otherwise, I will just let him go and hope that he never returns.
I mean, if he's gonna do something, it won't be anytime soon. I doubt it.
Yes, but if he is a threat, I would rather take care of it now before it gets out of hand.
And I'd rather not kill someone that may be important, or capture someone that may be important that may have done nothing. You have to
Also a
understand
fair
the
point.
position here.
All right. As Neff kind of just stares at you, waiting to see what you do. Dudes, what's
Well, I'm going to head back into the city. Just wanted to update you so that you can tell your men so that it's not panic.
You see, as one of the soldiers comes running from his tent and goes, "Guys, Greg's Martom's dead! Oh, why are you all armored?" Oh, as you see, he suddenly turns and goes scrambling back inside for, as you hear the armor kind of tinking about, joint kind of falling in line eventually.
Yeah. Was he the last one?
Yeah.
Okay, now we can move.
As you lot kind of, are you heading? Yeah, you're heading out towards the enemy city, correct? Or are you heading into here?
We're gonna start heading off.
Okay.
We're basically within time we needed to leave anyway, and with unknown stuff going on, may as well just go now.
All right. Yeah, as you pack up your gear, kind of giving the orders to the other mercenary captains to follow suit. They seem to kind of start calling in the orders. Dudes, you watch as you kind of start to jog back up as Neff starts shouting orders and tents are being kind of picked up. Camps being put away, fires being kicked out, and people are just jogging, or starting to kind of get in a jogging order and marching off. You do notice some citizens kind of panicking, screaming for their help as mercenaries just kind of kick them aside or shove them off. None of Neff's men seem to treat any of the citizens rude, but you do notice they don't seem to lend any hand to help them in any slight way.
I will tell Dutes to catch up when he finishes up what he's doing in town, because we won't be able to wait.
As soon as we handle this, we will be moving out.
I'll just nod.
And I will make my way back into the city.
As you go crawling through the city again, kind of pushing your way through the crowd, people still shouting and running, more rumors and comments. Some people talk about some red jokester coming into the city to take it over. Another saying that the Gemstone Court had already won and that the city was going to fall. Others commenting that some white-haired dwarf was coming to destroy everyone inside the city. Rumors seem to kind of or screams and shouts that kind of go about as you kind of jog back towards the party. Seeing Gygax, Melvin, and Tuntun. Well, not seeing Gygax at this point. Seeing Melvin and Tuntun just kind of casually having a conversation with this guy. I imagine Melvin kind of eyeing him slightly eerily with suspicion, though Tuntun seemed to have no concern.
I mean, Melvin's suspicious of everybody he doesn't really know, so...
That's fair. This guy does continue to probe you for questions, Melvin, about you and Tuntun's background, what kind of monsters you are, where you came from, what you've been up to, any cool deeds you've done.
I continue to dance around the specifics.
That's fair. He seems to not push anything, as he just seems to turn to Tuntun, who again continues to say Tuntun. He seems to acknowledge and understand, though, what Tuntun is saying. Tuntun, do you tell him anything, or are you going to also not try and say anything? I'm just curious how suspicious you are of this guy.
Tuntun has no suspicions about this guy whatsoever. No one told him to be suspicious of this guy, so he's not going to be.
No worries.
So he's just gonna be chatting him up. Just conversating, just whatever's on Tuntun's mind at the moment.
Alright.
I guess told you...
No?
Wasn't paying attention.
Told you that... Okay, because I remember making a psychic link with you and saying, this guy has slight hostility.
To be fair, Tuntun was in the middle of blending his pastries together. It takes a minute.
Sorry, that's my brother. But nonetheless, as me, the player, did not clock that in, neither did Tuntun.
Alright. As Tuntun kind of just hears it and it goes in one ear out the other as he's kind of explaining him, talking about his society and people from his knowledge. I imagine more excited that there's someone he can finally have a conversation with and that understands him as he speaks normally. Tuntun gets wrapped up into the conversation. And I mean, now Tenten, how much? So do you just tell him everything and answer as many questions as you two kind of have a conversation?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. He doesn't seem to push you on anything like your mithril shell. He just asks about like your growing up, like where you've been, how you met the group, why you're traveling with the group. You know, normal stuff you'd expect as an adventurer.
The circumstance of my birth. It was 2 years ago. It was on a beach. There was 40 of us buried underneath the ground. When we breached the surface, it was hell. Just a freaking war story going on.
Rocks as far as the eyes could see.
There were creatures swooping in from the sky. Crabs coming from all sides.
They took my
We lost half of us in the first 30 seconds of breaching.
Damn. He is fully vested into it, ecstatic to hear everything about it. You do notice he starts kind of like writing some minor notes down for himself. As you kind of see it, he doesn't seem to hide his notebook. It just reads like Zartan are born in clutches of 40 eggs. They have to break the surface to escape to the ocean. And just kind of like minor details and stuff like you'd expect like someone who's researching your species to do. If you understood what research and expectations truly were.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, tons going on through fucking like World War II, like beaches in Normandy type of experience.
As this kind of comes up as dudes, as you kind of come up hearing Tun kind of speak, saying just Tun over and over again, long stare off in the distance. Goose still sitting there chatting, having a good time. The group, although Melvin's still looking suspicious, you see no Gygax. What are you doing as you walk up here?
Hey, Goose. I pull out the scoots.
He takes
I got
it.
what you asked.
He kind of takes it and smiles and goes, you know, your friends here are just the kindest of people. Well, I don't know where the treasure chest fellow went. I think he disappeared to get to maybe chase some of the crowd or, answer a singing band in the distance. I'm not sure. But, your friend here, Tunathy Tumberson, I think it was, has been a great and kind host. And Melvin, though cautious, I understand, quite the conversationalist. May I ask upon you, did you need any other of my services?
Just a mere curiosity because I found something the other day.
He nods.
And I pull out the white mask.
He sees it. You see his eyes kind of go slightly wide, not even hiding any emotion. He goes, like, as he looks at it. Oh, go ahead.
Do you happen to know where this might have been? Like originated or the potential owner? Because I found it in an alleyway.
I took it to a library with me. It's an heirloom from my family. When I was a young man, I trained quite hard, and as a kind of a graduation gift for my success and showing myself as a hunter, as every young man really truly has to in my culture. I was given this mask as a reward to show my capabilities. It was stolen 3 nights ago. Maybe 4? No, it was definitely 4 when I was drinking. I had it with me celebrating my grandmother's passing. Unfortunately, she passed about a few months ago, and this was an anniversary for hers. And some stranger, red jacket fellow, big moose-like horns, came in and he bought me drink after drink, and I woke up, and then suddenly, my mask was gone. I was also out my pants. I'm not sure if he took those though. I don't want to pin it on him. I'm also not going to say he took the mask, but he did buy me so many drinks. I mean, we racked up a bill of 5,000 gold pieces at least with how much we drank. Oh, I'm still suffering from that hangover. So, do you mind if I have it back, or are you planning to use it for your investigation?
I will return it to you.
I appreciate that. It was an heirloom. He kind of takes it and puts it into a little bag of holding that he kind of pulls out of a small pocket in his vest. As he shows it, he goes, Hi, this is in the wrong hands. This item could be very dangerous, so I appreciate you. It is my solemn duty not to protect it, but also to use it for, well, technically whatever I wish, but I use it for good. I find that people who do evil tend to have that catch up with them.
Well, it's good to know that something potentially dangerous is guarded, though I hope that in the future you will do...
No more drinking games, yes.
Yes.
I agree. If I might ask or inquire, where did you see this item?
It was in an alleyway across from one of the adventurer guilds.
That's strange. I haven't been up the main street in, I don't know, days.
Whoever had it was staring at me and a party member.
I mean,
clearly hostile.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, you're kind of interesting to look at, as he kind of eyes you up and down.
Well, yes, I know there are not many of my kind are seen around here.
I've seen elves of all sort. Never seen an albino elf, though. Makes you interesting at the very least. So are you like you a monster tamer, or what's the kind of completely turns to you and looks at you now, putting his back now towards Melvin, now facing Gygax and technically Dudes, and goes, are you like some sort of monster tamer? Like, I mean, Tauntaun, I can definitely tell he's quite an intelligent being, but I feel like the only way a beholder travels with someone is if you make a deal or you've saved their life, and I'll be honest with how suspicious he is of me. I doubt you saved him. Also,
no, I am not a monster tamer.
He nods. Fair enough. Well, if they're not yours, he kind of pushes his foot forward, and you kind of see something kind of catches your attention, Gygax, as you notice this. He's not picking his foot up. He seems to be sliding his foot across the ground as if he's looking to hit something. As he kind of moves his foot towards your direction. About landing a few inches from your body, he kind of stands up and goes, well, if anything, I think it's time I turn in. It's a long day. I've been doing a lot of shouting, so you have a good day, young Dutes. He nods, turns and walks without even waiting for a response.
Who told you my name?
He turns back as you say that and goes, oh, apologies. I'm a friend of Neff's. Well, technically not Neff. I'm a friend of his right hand. The wily one that likes to, kind of froths at the mouth anytime you smack him around. And then they smack you twice as hard. Has an obsession with catapults.
Yeah.
Good. I'm a good drinking buddy. You came up in conversation. Something about some goblins, I believe, in an eclair. By the way, is it true that your turtle can spit out fireballs every time he eats a pastry?
At the mention of that event, Tauntaun gets that look in his eye of fire and brimstone.
Can I sense motive to see if he's trying to change the subject?
Yeah, go ahead.
Still here.
What was that?
Oh, I thought I just connected.
No.
Can I sense motive to see if he's trying to change the subject?
Yeah, go ahead.
16.
16. Give me a second. I'm gonna... As you kind of look over at him and catching the fact of him changing the comment to Ultimus, it kind of catches your eye that yes, he is indeed changing the subject.
I just look at Doots and kind of like give a slight nod kind of thing. A signal of sorts.
Dudes?
I know they were in our head earlier, so I don't want to just...
Why are you trying to change the subject?
He looks at you and goes, you're not that good of a bard, are you? You're supposed to, speak, or not like be direct. You're supposed to be, flowery and walking around subjects, you know? You ain't go to school, I take it, or anything. You just got your powers naturally?
I've noticed that sometimes it's better to be direct with some people than it is to be with others.
Well, it's not true about Faye, is it? I'm gonna do you a solid, dudes. I'm gonna save you some trouble. You got a big event coming up. I'm not the guy you want to mess with yet. Get a little more famous, a little stronger, as he kind of holds up the scoot in his hand, standing about 20 feet away from you all. He kind of smiles and as he pockets it once more and goes, and come find me. We'll talk then. If you do it now, well, let's just say there's a reason I know what's going on. And you're outnumbered, my friend.
And where would I meet you?
Don't worry. If you get famous enough, I'll find you. And he turns and starts walking, ignoring you at that point, as he starts heading off towards the western gate.
When he gets about 30 feet away, I just go...
You would just stick out your tongue and fucking do a raspberry towards the guy. He doesn't even notice as he continues on.
Well, I think it's best we start heading out. Neff and his crew are beginning to march.
While I think that the city is possibly doomed, I don't know that there's much we could do to help, so yeah, I agree we should probably go find Neff.
Alright.
Yeah.
As the party kind of turns, having no disagreement to the subject, you lot start following after Doots back towards the mercenary quarters, leaving the city behind. As the last few people screaming and shouting kind of exit out of the town, kind of eerie silence taking over the city. As you head out, kind of catching up to the wagons gathering together, you see as Neff has finally gotten the wagons all set up for his soldiers for the camping equipment. The other mercenaries kind of finishing up theirs as Neff looks more irritated with them than anything else, as he seems to stare at the other mercenary captains who seem to almost defiantly, as you look over, kind of slowly put their gear in their wagons as they stare at Neff. A definite tension can be felt in the air, though, as you finally catch up to him and his 4 bodyguards that kind of stand around are nearby. As you kind of catch up with the group, are you planning to do anything before you head out of the city? Or head out with him, rather, I should say?
Grab a scoot.
Grab the what?
A scoot.
Oh, grab the scoot, yes, from, of course, Dudes, yep.
So I guess on either a wagon or on the back of Tun Tun, I am going to... I want to play a song to help calm people down.
Alright.
Might be a pure instrumental for the most part.
Yeah, you climb up onto Tun Tun to get a little height, and go ahead and give me a perform check. I mean, assuming Tun Tun isn't fighting it.
Yeah, I'm not fighting it.
17.
I also set up my little sled and offer to drag anything.
As you kind of bring it out, Well, a couple of the mercenaries seem to come over and load it with your own tent, as they unload your guys' tent and your setup off of their wagon onto your thing. They give you a full set of camping gear for the entirety of your group, as they set everything down with pillows to set out at the bottom of the teepee styled tent, and a little table that kind of folds into itself and expands out into a circle, or into a sphere rather, to kind of sit as a centerpiece.
That's the fun part. Can Melvin even drag it? Once it's loaded.
It is a total of 65 pounds.
Oh, yeah, I'm fine then.
Okay. Yeah, easily pulling the wagon alongside as Dude starts playing and Tun starts marching. Gygax, are you going to be helping Dutes, or are you just going to kind of walk along, or what's the plan?
I'm going to try and help load whatever needs to be loaded, and I'm going to try and walk at the pace that's being set.
Okay.
When we start marching.
Alright. Yeah, as you try to keep up, it's not hard. The carts aren't going to be going too fast. And Dutes, what did you get for your perform check as you started this?
17.
Okay. Well, 17. As you start playing some marching music and almost to calm people down, a beat picks up. The mercenaries seem to kind of fall in order, from as if they kind of get the idea. Neff seems to kind of sigh with a bit of relief as the other mercenaries seem to pick up the pace as they seem to get into the music a bit more. You lot start to head or kind of join with the mercenary group and heading out. And as you do so, everyone please go ahead and roll me some search checks as you guys kind of hit the road. For those who are listening, we will be back in an instant. For those who are currently playing, we're going to take a quick 5-minute break for me to grab some water and clear my throat. Okay, welcome back. Let me close that. As we return, as you lot continue on your way, heading up the main road. Thank you for joining. For those, as you kind of continue up the main road, following after the army and heading into the side, or kind of following these scouting units, you lot find yourselves out towards a kind of open hill, where the trees themselves seem to have been cut away. A small little fort seeming to have been set up at some point, as what looks to be a destroyed wooden gatehouse, with the gate itself kind of crashed in. A bunch of large wooden stakes kind of sticking out of the ground, that are slightly charred. From at the bottom of the hill, you see as this hill looks to have been reinforced, though, as the orders from Ultimus to the party was to investigate and check out anything you guys could find. Realizing for the most part this was really just a busy order to keep you guys out of the main grouping, as they kind of do, as they follow and kind of check and make sure there's no armies coming to attack them.
I mean, understandable.
But as you see this slightly large wooden or charred wooden fort set up at the top of the hill, there doesn't seem to be any signs, no bodies, no creatures, no any signs of swords or any battle other than the burning of the fort itself, with the wood being charred. The outside looks to be just plain grass, no flowers, no nothing seeming to grow about it, as you look around.
Could you repeat the last part you cut out for me?
I said, as you look around, you see no signs of any sort of battle, any aspects. The ground looks to be just simple grass, nothing of uniqueness kind of sticks out about as you look about.
Can I look a bit closer, or with a little bit more focus?
With a 4 in search, as all of you look at this, that's, yeah, you can give me another one. However, that's with a 17 from Tun.
Can I taste the air?
I would like to examine the body a little bit or building a little closer.
Okay. Gygax, give me a survival check for tasting the air, and then you want to look a little bit closer, Melvin?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you getting physically closer is my question. Or are you just flying straight up to look into the fort?
Yeah, just flying up to try to see in.
Alright. Give me another search check. See if you can, if anything catches your eye as you float up.
Can someone roll a d20 plus 1 because I'm outside smoke?
22.
Got you. D20 plus 1. 13. Man, you should have had someone else roll. From now on, someone else roll for Gygax, because I'm gonna screw him here with these terrible rules. Melvin, as you kind of float all the way up, looking down into the fort, you see a bunch of what looks to be humanoid-looking corpses wearing bronze and copper armor, much of it looking like plate or like heavy scale. Many of them looking to have like a brownish fur, though it's kind of hard to tell from being as high up as you are. You count roughly 20 of these figures kind of dotted about the inside of the fort as you come back down. As you taste the air, Gygax, you get a slight charredness to the air that kind of catches the flavor on your tongue. However, otherwise the only other sense you get is a taste of burning or cooked flesh.
And they all look dead from what I can tell.
As you wait a few moments, yeah, none of them seem to move, not even a twitch. By the looks of it, the bodies look from this distance, it's hard to tell, but you'd guesstimate they've probably been dead for a while. This place looks like it's been attacked or been left here. What's strange to you, though, I will state, Melvin, is that none of the equipment, as you do see their arms and equipment, their armor, still laying all about them, nothing's been stolen or taken. While you don't know much about humans, basic understanding from your own experience with this adventuring party is when you kill someone, you loot and take their shit.
Yes, psionically to all of them, just say, looks like about 20 dead inside, all still with their loot.
I'll go and investigate.
Okay. Who's all going in with Dutes inside?
I stay close to Dutes.
I was about to say, is there really no takers? Dudes look back and like, no one. Okay. Melvin is going up, yeah.
I
Yeah,
guess I'll accompany him, but I'll stay in the back.
Okay. Gotcha.
I would like to go in, but I'm more so watching for traps.
Okay. Let's say, let's do another search check for that specifically, for the traps. Because I don't think there's...
I do have trap making.
Yeah, you do. Do you have find trap by chance? And I think that's a skill or a feat you get with certain classes, but I know you. I don't think you.
No, it doesn't look like it.
It's not a feat. It's just a class thing.
And that's a rogue thing, right?
But it's rogue, and I think there's one other class that's not one of the core ones that gets it.
So then yeah,
but
never
it's
mind.
also only to find like really well made traps, like 20 and above.
Appreciated. So. Okay. Yeah, then we'll just do a search check, and I'll give you a +4 for your crafting, because you're crafting understanding. So, okay. And with as Tun kind of comes up behind him, 16. All right. Yeah, we'll keep that in mind. Dutes, as you kind of fall head up, you've got Gygax to your right, Tun behind you, and Melvin kind of floating overhead slightly. As you head towards the gates, kind of looking at them, staying in front of them, they stand ajar, closed but slightly pushed over, as if something kind of just climbed over it when breaking these things down. Though it looks to be blocking your path, you can't really see a way in unless you want to climb over the walls or try and knock this thing down.
You want me to climb in and take a look?
Yeah.
Alright, I go to climb in.
Alright, let's get a climb check from Gygax. See what you get. Let's see, 17. Yeah, as you climb over the wall, easily pulling yourself up, You manage to get onto the other side as you feel the wood itself kind of crumble with your weight as you get to the top of it. The pillars, as you kind of climb over, falling over almost at the halfway point, creating a slight easier way for the party to get in, though it's the pillars themselves still standing about 10 feet tall before being cracked about 5 feet tall after. But as you climb in, you see the desiccated corpses everywhere, bodies lying about, weapons in hand on a few of them, most of them turned over or seeming on to lie on their stomachs. Yeah, what are you looking for? Or what do you want to do?
I tell Doots what I see and ask him to. So, Doots, burnt bodies are in here. Do you want me to keep going, or is that good?
Go a little bit further. I'll be pushing down the wall.
Okay. Give me a strength check for the wall.
And I go further in.
All right. As you kind of head into the fort, it looks to be a somewhat a setup of a circle fort with a central tower set up in the center. The rest of it looks to be basically small little tents that are set about as where the rest of the troops had been sleeping. As you look through the different tents, you find no other bodies. Doots, what'd you get for your strength check?
14.
14. Easily shoving into the wall or to the gate. You feel it first as it seems to give you a bit of pressure and then give way as it crumbles from the center, kind of crushing in on itself. It falls over into a kind of a loud collapse as smoke kind of piles out of it or off of it. The rest of your party, hearing being right behind you with this loud clatter, you notice that these sounds, besides the slight footsteps in the distance from the marching army, there's not much sound in these parts of the backcountry. As it seems to carry in the distance, but as the door crumbles in, you find yourselves kind of standing now at the gatehouse, unimpeded, seeing Gygax kind of going in and out through some of the tents, looking about, finding no bodies in the tents themselves. All of those who, or all the bodies seem to be either at the walls, from what you can tell, looking as if they had been defending before they had fallen. But the rest of you kind of head into the camp, seeing the central tower and the large outer wall, bunch of kind of little tents set up. What do you want to do?
I'll look at the dead bodies and see if they have anything worth taking.
All right.
I'll run around the central tower to see if there's a door to go in it.
Okay. And Melvin and Tuntun, how are you splitting up? I assume Tuntun's just gonna stay with Doots, but
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I would go around with Gygax.
Okay. Yeah, as you follow after Gygax, we'll get back to Gygax and Melvin in a second. Tuntun and Doots, as you look about the bodies, Doots, you find this is full plate of bronze and copper on each of these what you realize are hobgoblins as you kind of flip them over. Many of them carrying long swords and javelins on their backs, some with bows, arrows. Many of them seemingly carrying strange medallions around their necks. Yeah.
Do the medallions look similar to the amulet of protection that I have?
As you look at, no. This design, give me a second to pull the exact wording up. As you look at it, Tuntun, are you paying attention to anything in particular? Or are you just kind of looking at what Doots is looking at just out of curiosity?
I'm just chilling there waiting for any proper instructions since, I'm just chilling. If I'm told to do something, I will.
Okay. Yeah, as, you see the symbol as you're kind of looking over at them. It seems to look as if a blackened eye on the medallion kind of opens up and looks at you. This triangle or this diamond-shaped medallion. The eye has seeming like blue coloration around the iris as it kind of locks eyes with you. No pun intended. As you it seems to flash for a moment, a little bit of light around the eye glowing, and then the eye turns to a green gemstone that stops moving as it kind of centers. As you kind of look at the medallion for a moment, and then set the body back down, I imagine.
Yeah. I'll get to work to taking off the armor off of these bodies.
Okay. Yeah, as you do so, with the help of Tun Tun kind of putting it onto his back to carry with you, you pull in total, 4 things of full plate, in bronze, 7 in, copper. As well as, a total of 12 usable longswords, all of copper, and lastly, which I'm not writing these down, so I hope you are, about 32 javelins.
So how much of that's getting packed on me? Just because I can...
All of it, I assume.
Alright.
In total, I believe, for the full plate. Nope, dude says.
So you said 4 full bronze, 7 full copper?
Yep. I think Dudes is writing everything, so. Alright. As you start to kind of track that down, kind of digging about it, Gygax and Melvin, we're gonna jump over to you for a moment. As you head to the opposite side of the camp, kind of circling around the building, you find the doorway where a door used to be. What looks to be little holes kind of pinned that have pierced through the solid stone, solid wood walls of this little central tower. Seeing that you can see almost clearly through the holes. They look to be about the size of roughly maybe an arrow or a bolt or a slug in shape. As you kind of look inside the tower itself, you see the stairs that go up to the second floor. A bunch of what looks to be other hobgoblins in similar shape, each with little holes, although these ones kind of like pinned up against walls or pushed up against different parts of the room. You count 4 in total, as you see little bits of blood from central marks around their forehead that you really quickly kind of realize that these creatures were shot or were hit in the head with some sort of object that would most likely looks like it had killed them from what you can tell from an immediate look around. The bottom floor itself has a single chest kind of with a large lock on it still, set off to the side. Some arms and armor kind of set on racks to be polished and cleaned as you look about.
How big is the chest?
Roughly about 5 feet wide, about same about height. Roughly.
So it's bigger than I am.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go up to it.
Okay.
Is the lock still in one piece? As in, it's
Yeah.
locked?
It's a solid iron lock from what you can tell. This thing is a heavy lock too, because it seems to have a full. As you look at, kind of take a look at it, it seems to have almost a 4 tumbler system into it that you can almost hear as you jingle the lock around. It doesn't seem to be a new lock, as it does definitely sound old due to the movement you're hearing. The metal shouldn't move like that inside of a lock, from what you would know.
Is there a mace or a hammer in the room?
There is a mace on one of the weapon racks that's slightly busted, but it looks like it'd be effective for what you're thinking.
I'm gonna grab the mace and bash the hell out of the lock.
All right. Give me a strength strength roll. Excuse me. Easily as you go and slam it hard, the lock in almost a single blow cracks down, as the top of the bolt kind of pops, kind of cracks at the joining. Lock breaks off as you take it off and set it to the side. Melvin kind of watching all of this as this happens. Nothing seeming to move or seeming to change as the lock's busted off.
Before I open the chest, I'm going to lick the chest.
Okay. As you lick the chest doesn't seem to react.
Does my tongue tingle?
As you take a moment, you don't feel any tingling. You do feel the slight taste of wood grain, that you are familiar with.
No
The
spells are on this
chest doesn't look like a trapped one, does it?
From that search check earlier, no, it does not.
Okay.
Well, I just licked it, so there's no spells on it. So I open the chest.
Alright, as you kind of push it open, you see inside as what looks to be the body of a hobgoblin kind of smushed and squished inside of it. As if they were living when they were put in there. You can see the top of the chest has scratch marks from the nails of the person that was inside of it. Their fingertips looking quite bloodied. As you see this, there's no items inside of it. It's just a corpse of a hobgoblin, from what you can tell.
We'll have to keep that tactic in mind.
Don't think of using me, though.
Well, but you could eat them.
Yeah, but do you see how big they are? It would take me a few bites. I'd have to cut them up first and then eat them.
I mean, well, between you and Tauntaun, I'm sure we could figure it out.
Yeah, we probably could. I close the chest and start walking up the stairs.
Alright. Melvin, do you follow after?
He didn't look like he had anything important on him.
No, he didn't. It was just a body that was crumpled up and shoved in.
Okay. And there's nothing else interesting looking in this room.
Other than the equipment, the normal equipment about that, will probably fetch a fine price, as you've seen people selling arms and equipment at the in the markets and such for a lot of gold coins. That's about the only thing really here, from what you've seen so far.
We can make some more money off of this stuff.
We can?
Yeah, if we sell it in, markets. I mean, it's armor. Somebody will need it.
Exactly how much of everything is in the room?
I'll give a full listing at the end of session, don't worry. I'll assume that you're taking everything.
Numbers next time, because I need to know for the weight is the issue.
Yeah, I'll assume that you guys will be kind of gathering it all together with you regardless, though. Even if you have to make a few trips to come back.
Okay.
That's fine. Yep, as you two start to kind of head up to the second floor, we jump back to Tauntaun and Doots. As Doots, you continue kind of looking about the camp. Flipping over each of the bodies and kind of inspecting them, you notice that each one seems to have the same kind of markings on them, a simple mark to the head. None of them seem to have worn helmets from what you can tell, and each of them seem to have it seemed to be right in the dead center of their forehead. Though, from what it is without a heal check, it's too hard to tell. That caused the damage.
Heal check, you say?
Was Tauntaun gonna heal check?
Well, I mean, I'll give it a shot. I'm not good at it by any means. However, at least I can say I tried.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Alright, let's see what a +2 with heal gets me. 16, not too bad.
With a 16, as you look at it, you see the clean hole in the forehead, the little rivulets about the wound. Though you can't explain it to Doots currently, it comes to realization that this is definitely a arrow. As you look over the rest of the body, you see that there are no other wounds. It means that this person was killed in a single shot, or they shot so many arrows in the exact same spot that it eviscerated and splintered and destroyed the arrows that were there. But there is no clear sign of any leftover arrow. There's no splinters. There's no signs of any arrows anywhere, in fact, that were left behind.
Tauntaun takes off his monocle and Sherlock Holmes hat, and since he's dudes, he can't really say anything about it, so...
Just imagine looks at Doots, looks at the hole, looks at Doots.
looks at Doots, looks at the hole.
As if, and I imagine at this point, Doots has realized that this means that Tauntaun is trying to say something, but...
Yes, Mr. Holmes, I completely understand what you're saying.
Don't bullshit me, Watson. I know you can't understand a single word I'm saying.
Tauntaun just giving you the deadpan stares, he just says Tauntaun.
Ah, yes. Must have been magic. No. So, I'll see if there's anything else worth looking for, or anything else that stands out in this room, whether it's treasure, hidden chest, hell, maybe even a note.
Okay, so you're heading into the building. You're not gonna, or are you saying you're doing this while you look about the tents?
Yeah.
Okay. As you look about the tents, give me a search check. Let's see if you find anything specific.
That is not the right page. I somehow ended up on a different page entirely.
And I feel that. You don't want to know how many tabs I have open.
Alright, so because I'm not performing, my rolls are low. I got a 5.
Damn. As you look about, digging through kind of the camps and taking your time, you kind of pull up some of the bedrolls, shake them about, find a little bit of food here and there, some rations. You pick up about 12 rations for free as you kind of dig through. Though, the hardtack is good. You kind of set the meat aside as you can't really identify the strange blue-colored meat, and not willing to risk it, I imagine. Yeah. As that's set to the side, you take the hardtack, kind of adding it to your own rations. As you look about, though, you find a couple of what looks to be wrapped journals. One that catches your attention that's just kind of sat out. As you go to kind of open it, do you read Goblin by chance?
No.
As you look at it, it looks like Chicken Scratch.
Hold on. Tuntun would like to peer over and see what's going on, as I can read.
I'm happy you can read, Tuntun. It reads, I don't know what I'm writing. In Goblin.
Clearly they did if they wrote that.
However, they seem to draw a bunch of pictures as you kind of dig further through. Most of them seem to be strange acts with what looks to be a beholder, and a bugbear, doing things that only Baldur's Gate could truly give credit to.
And that's too young for this.
And that's what most of the rest of that the journal is about. As your search check was a 5.
Listen, I know we already had the baby conversation.
I say, Tuntun looking at this thing. He's looking at this.
In DM's world, it's not the birds and the bees; it's the beholders and the bugbears, obviously.
So, okay.
God damn it.
I'm gonna close this journal.
Alright, yeah.
I'm gonna set it down.
Okay, yeah, you sit back down on the bedroll that you found it.
Kind of holding out my hands as if I don't see them as clean anymore. I'm gonna just wipe them off on a nearby tree.
Alright, yeah, as you head back outside the camp to one of the trees down at the bottom of the hill, coming back a few moments later, Tuntun just kind of watching you come back, go leave and then come back. You come back into the camp as you hear the sounds of clanging metal as a lock is kind of tossed aside. Alright, as you and Tuntun continue your search, we will come back to you in a moment. Gygax and Melvin, as you go to the second floor, looking about, you see what looks to be a larger hobgoblin with kind of bright silver hair, and what looks to be kind of shiny golden armor, or like plate mail, sitting in a large chair, or wooden chair, a massive hole in the center of their forehead that looks to have gone clean through to the chair, kind of sitting there. No weapon drawn in their hand. As you look about the rest of the room, you see a few boxes or a few chests that are sitting about. That seem to also, although these ones though seem to be 5 foot wide, quite wide to look like trunks, only look to be about a foot deep. Each of them with much smaller locks on them as you look about, but there are no other hobgoblins on the second floor. Although the large open windows do allow a nice pleasant air to come through, the cold weather kind of still going on outside. You do see kind of Dutes as he leaves, or rather, sorry, never mind, ignore me for that last part. But yeah, as you look about the room, what would you like to do?
Melvin, I'm gonna go down the stairs and get that mace so I can come up and smash all the locks on these chests. You gonna be okay?
Yeah, I'll look over the chests and make sure they're not trapped or anything.
All right.
Always gonna lick them, but yeah, okay. I'll be right back. I go to get the mace.
Okay, you head down to get the mace once more. Melvin, with your search check from earlier, as you look at it for a second, you notice that both of these chests seem to have a slight looking something attached to the lock. It looks like it's almost as thin as a spider's webbing. That leads down towards the bottom of the chest, and as you kind of look at it, it's hard to tell, but you're pretty sure that the wood doesn't line up properly with each other underneath the two chests to the rest of the floor, making you realize, based on a simple understanding of traps that you'd have on the traps you've made, that there's some sort of either pressure plate or something under there that's not right.
Can I attempt to disarm it?
Yes, you can. Let's go ahead and roll a disable device.
A 6.
Ouch! Yeah, as Gygax kind of comes walking back up, mace in hand, you kind of walk over and start pulling out your trap working kit, some little bits of metal. You start poking at the or the wood, trying to lift it up just slightly enough. And as you go to set it down, you notice the pressure plate doesn't seem to deactivate after messing with it for a moment. As you kind of continue to stare at it, you realize you did not disable the device. Gygax kind of comes in seeing you do this. Gygax,
it's trapped of some sort.
Okay. Can you move back a bit? I'm gonna smash the locks.
I'm gonna fly out of the window.
As you fly out of the window, yeah, you fly down, seeing Tun and Dude's kind of looking up at the.
And you hear as I get farther away. I'm not sure that's a good idea.
As you fly out and away from the camp, about back down to the bottom of the hill, Tun kind of and Dude's kind of seeing you do this. Dude seems to chase after hearing this. Tun, what are you doing with that?
Do it with what?
You just saw the Melvin just go flying away, saying that he thinks that's a bad idea. Dude seemed to follow after him. You're now left here. You don't see Gygax, but you're left in the middle of the camp. What are you wanting to do?
I guess I'll just follow wherever Dudes goes.
Okay, chasing after him down the hill. Gygax, you are left alone as you kind of look out the window, see even Tun kind of walking after Doots out down to after Melvin.
Alright, are both the treasure chests on the same pressure plate, or are they on separate?
They're on opposite sides of the room.
But they both are on their own pressure plate.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. I am 10 feet away from the chest when I swing the mace.
Okay. I will mention the room is only about 30 feet by 30 feet, so...
Yeah, well
okay.
My pseudopods are 10 foot long.
Yeah, no worries. Alright, go. So you're gonna try and break the lock still?
Yep.
Alright. Go ahead and roll the strength to see if you can crack the lock.
Here's the one to the chest on the left.
Uh-huh. Alright. Now, are you going to stop, or are you just going to turn and do the other one immediately without any hesitation?
I'm kind of going to give it a second.
Okay.
Just see if anything goes boom.
Yeah, give me a reflex save. I'll give you advantage because you were waiting for it, so I'll give you the +4 to it. Or +2 to it, rather.
There's your reflex.
27. As you dive down the stairs, you watch as you hear the explosion above, taking no damage easily as you dive down. The entire upper second floor, it seems to explode in a giant inferno. Tun, as you look up with Melvin and Doots, you just hear as some slight crack of metal on metal is heard, and then a massive fiery explosion at the top of the tower, igniting the entirety of it in a single gulf of flame. The flames coming out as a purplish color, as I imagine, as you hear a loud kind of slamming with the explosion going off. Melvin, Doots, and Gygax, you're completely fine as you watch this happen. Or not Gygax, sorry, Melvin, Doots, and Tun. You are completely fine as you watch this happen.
When I get back to my feet, I look up. Is the room still on fire?
It is engulfed in flame. You can't even see the room clearly as you look up the stairs at this point. Everything looks to be on fire.
Alright, I'll come back for the other chest when the fire goes out.
Alright, as you head back out, you lot kind of wait outside watching as the fire slowly burns. The purple flame slowly dying down to a bluish color, then slowly back down to red as it burns the first floor down. The ground below, or the first floor of the tower kind of crumbling in on itself. A few hours go by as you kind of try to head back in. You find as the previous chest is completely eviscerated, all the coin melted. Dragging the mace, taking the mace with you. You head back towards Zarek, and everything seems to be burned and melted away at this point. The armor and the gear that was left in the tower seeming to have melted down into a flat plate onto the ground and into the dirt as you lot kind of inspect it. As you look as poor Tun with his load of gear on his back, as you look on, realizing all that, it was hot, all that is left to burn. Moments go by as you continue to watch, exploring, and that's where we're going to end today's session with, as Dudes had to leave early, and I'd like not to go too far much ahead. We thank you for watching, we hope you enjoyed, and we will see you next time with Tonathi Tunberson leading the way. No, totally it's Dudes.